All right, we are going to do a listening comprehension. Now, a listening comprehension means while I'm reading the story, you are simply listening and trying to understand what's happening. Who are the characters? What are they doing? Where are they? Before I get started, I want you to think about this question. What objects have you seen in the sky? I know when I think about the sky, I think about certain things. So be thinking about that as I read. Our story today is called The Hidden Sun. Good morning, Miss Moore said when everyone was settled. Today we are going to continue our science topic. We have been learning about the sky. Can anyone remember some of the things we've talked about? Holly raised her hand. Comets, she said. The stars, Mike said. Other kids chimed in. The moon, the Big Dipper, constellations, clouds. Oh, very good. Now we are going to write reports. We'll work in groups of two. Each group will think of something in the sky to work on this week. On Friday, you will present your reports to the class. You will need to research your topics. You should include pictures in your reports. Your pictures can be photographs, drawings, videos, or anything else you can think of. Now, Miss Moore, the teacher in this story, talked about the word reports. A report tells about things you've learned. So, for an example, the class enjoyed Kara's report about dolphins. What are some things you would potentially want to write a report about? Ms. Moore also talked about presenting their reports. When you present something, you show or tell about it before an audience. So, for an example, Lillian will present her report to the class. Maybe we could give a report about a solar eclipse, Holly told her partner Mike. A solar eclipse is really interesting. Yeah, that sounds fun. But what is a solar eclipse? Said Mike. Miss Moore said a solar eclipse happens when the moon moves between the sun and earth and hides the sun, said Holly. Look, this book tells that when the moon hides the sun, the sky gets dark. It's almost like someone has turned off the light. Holly added, but the light isn't really off. The light is just as strong during an eclipse. It says that watching a solar eclipse can ruin our eyes, even when the sun is hidden by the moon. Then how does anyone know what it looks like? They said at exactly the same time. The next day after school, Holly and Mike worked on their report at Holly's house. Holly's mother helped them find a solar eclipse website that was easy to understand. You know, when you're researching things, it's the best to find something that you really understand. Look, Mike said, pointing to the computer monitor. There's a picture of the moon passing between Earth and the sun. Only part of the sun is hidden. It says that's a partial solar eclipse. When the moon hides all of the sun, it's called a total eclipse. Now, the word total means the whole or entire thing. For an example, Max spent the total amount of his money. I wish I could see a solar eclipse, Holly sighed. But it says here a total eclipse may only happen once in our lifetime. Hey, but partial eclipses happen much more often, Mike said. It says there's some kind of eclipse about 2 times a year. Maybe we can see one. But how? Remember that Miss Moore told us that looking at the sun is very bad for our eyes. Then how did people take those pictures? Mike asked. You know, there's an observatory nearby, Holly's mother told them. The people there study the sky and the moon and the stars. Maybe they can answer your question. Mike and Holly called the observatory and spoke with a scientist named Mr. Jackson. We have a question, Holly asked. How do people know what solar eclipses look like if they can't watch them? Would you like to visit our observatory? Mr. Jackson said. We're having a special program for kids next week. I can show you all the ways to see a solar eclipse without hurting your eyes. Holly's mom took them to the observatory. They saw many things. They learned about the moon, the planets, and the sun. Mr. Jackson joined them as they were reading a sign that said, "The light from the sun is very bright. Never look directly at the sun." "Are you the people who want to know how to watch a solar eclipse?" he asked. Holly and Mike nodded. Mr. Jackson led them to a room filled with telescopes. Now, telescopes make things that are far away seem closer and larger. "Everyone wears special eclipse glasses," he explained. "The glasses filter out the sunlight that can hurt your eyes." Mr. Jackson gave Holly and Mike some special eclipse glasses. "Do you wear them?" Holly asked as she put them on. "Yes, and here at the observatory we have special telescopes with very special filters. When we look through a telescope, the moon, planets, and other things in the sky seem very close to us. When we look at the sun, we use telescopes that filter the light." Mr. Jackson gave Mike and Holly lots of solar eclipse photos and thanked them for coming. On Friday, Mike and Holly put on their special glasses and passed the photos around. Then they told the rest of the class everything they had learned at the observatory. Thank you for listening to The Hidden Sun with me. When you close out of this listening comprehension section, you will then open some questions. Remember, the whole point of this was to try and understand the story. So here are the questions you're going to answer. Question 1. Miss Moore's class has been studying the sky. What are some things they have learned about? That was clear back in the very first picture. Question 2. What do Mike and Holly want to write their report on? But what are they confused about? Question 3. Why does a solar eclipse happen? How does the moon hide the sun? And our last 2 questions. What does Mr. Jackson tell Mike and Holly about a solar eclipse? Why do people wear special eclipse glasses when they watch an eclipse? Feel free to listen to this recording again if some of those questions are a bit unclear. Thanks for listening to The Hidden Sun.